The Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat find themselves in eerily similar situations regarding their star players. Giannis Antetokounmpo reportedly isn't satisfied with the Bucks' current direction, while Tyler Herro is seeking a major payday from the Heat. For the first time in his career, Antetokounmpo is said to be open to a potential trade. Antetokounmpo is reportedly open to exploring other teams outside the Bucks for the first time in his career, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. Chris Quick wrote. The Heat, meanwhile, face a complicated decision with Herro, whether to trade him, extend him, or simply let the situation play out. While Herro has spent his entire career in Miami, a change of scenery might not be the worst thing for the 24-year-old. Whatever happens between Herro and the Heat from here, it changes nothing about how their relationship began, with Miami pulling off one of the biggest draft heists of the past 25 years, AUCH's Dan Favale wrote. If Miami decides to keep Herro and pay him, the price tag could be around $30 million annually, similar to what Lakers guard Austin Reaves is reportedly targeting. Reaves will be a free agent. There is zero chance he is picking up his $14.9 million player option, even if he plans to stay with the Lakers. Reaves reportedly wants to be paid in the Tyler Herro range of $30 million a year, and Herro is a good comp in a lot of ways, wrote NBC Sports' Kurt Helen. Given the uncertainty surrounding both stars, a blockbuster trade could emerge, one that sends Antetokounmpo to Miami and Herro to Milwaukee. Where looks like a legitimate building block, Jaquez would have been considered as such as recently as last summer, and Herro just booked his first All-Star season as a 25-year-old. Add the draft picks here, and that feels like enough for the Heat to at least entertain dreams of adding Antetokounmpo, whose resume features a couple of MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year honor, and a Finals MVP, Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley wrote. Such a deal would send shockwaves through the league, especially since most still believe Antetokounmpo won't leave Milwaukee. Herro, on the other hand, could become a major piece of the Bucks' future, potentially securing the deal he's been seeking. Bobby Portis would also be part of the trade package. There are a lot of moving parts in this potential deal, but it could be a rare win-win scenario, one that benefits both franchises in their current state. Frustrated by corruption and the career politicians who call Miami City Hall home, the co-founder of a software company whose name is on the Heat's downtown arena is considering a run for mayor. With about 2 months to go before the city's November 4th election, Fred Vacula, vice chairman and former CEO of the IT management company Casilla, is thinking of entering the crowded Miami mayor's race. A downtown resident and major Republican donor, Vacula hasn't spent much time engaged in local politics. But Vacula said he was prodded into action after the city commission voted 3-2 in June to postpone the November 2025 election to 2026 without voter approval. The city's move plunged the election into uncertainty. For now, after 2 courts blocked the city's efforts to postpone it, the election is scheduled for November. What would happen if Donald Trump or Joe Biden decided to delay an election for a year? Vacula said in an interview this week. Only in Miami. Vacula, 51, told the Miami Herald that he's not quite ready to commit to a mayoral run. Candidate qualifying begins on September 5th and runs through September 20th. Either way, he said he plans to be engaged in civic issues in Miami moving forward. We could be the Dubai of the Western Hemisphere, Vacula said. We have such an opportunity, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot with all this crap that goes on in City Hall. It's an embarrassment. If he decides to throw his hat in the ring, Vacula's entry could be a major shakeup in a field of official and prospective candidates that includes former mayors Xavier Suarez and Joe Carollo, as well as Democratic politicians Eileen Higgins and Ken Russell. Former city manager Emilio Gonzalez, who sued to stop the city from changing its election date, is also in the mix. Vacula, a tech executive who describes himself as a political outsider, doesn't have the same name recognition as his potential opponents. For most political newcomers, the prospect of fundraising for an election that's less than 10 weeks out would be daunting. But Vacula is willing to spend his own money to make it happen. Earlier this month, he created a political committee called Leadership for Miami's Future. So far, he said he's given $200,000 to the PAC. Speaking broadly about Miami City Hall, Vacula said he can't be bought by special interests. "Ain't nobody gonna bribe me," Vakala said. "There ain't enough money someone can give me. I don't need it. I don't want it," he added. "I'd love for them to try." Politics and tech Vakala, who built his career in the software industry, had high praise for the current mayor, Francis Suarez, whom he credited with turning the global perception of Miami from a resort town to a technology-forward city. He added that Suarez, who's faced his own controversies related to his public office and private business dealings in recent years, set the table for Miami to become the #1 technology town in the world. The next mayor, Vakala said, has big shoes to fill to shepherd Miami into the future and ensure the city's recent tech boom wasn't a flash in the pan. He pointed specifically to the rise of artificial intelligence, saying Miami could become the first true AI-first city in the world. Vakala was CEO of Casilla from 2015 to 2025. He stepped down at the start of the year before the company had a successor lined up. He helped create the company in 2000 in Silicon Valley before it relocated to Miami in 2015. The company, which makes software that helps businesses manage information technology systems and security, now brings in more than $1 billion in annual revenue. Vakala said he decided to leave the position because it was time to move on and do different things in life. Vakala, now vice chairman of the company's board, said he remains the largest individual shareholder in the company. Vakala has positioned himself as somewhat of a political novice, saying he's not really political per se. But Vakala was appointed this summer to the Florida International University Board of Trustees. And he's given hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 5 years to Republican politicians or political committees supporting them, according to campaign finance records, including Trump, Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, and the Republican National Committee. That includes 2 contributions totaling $150,000 to one of Trump's fundraising committees in the fall of 2024. Vakala is a Republican, although he briefly registered without party affiliation in 2022 before switching back to Republican this year, according to the Miami-Dade Elections Department. Going forward, Vakala said he wants to focus on nonpartisan issues specific to Miami. One of his ideas, commissioning a study to calculate how much extra money an average Miamian pays per year because of the misuse of public funds or policies that are in place for no reason other than to lubricate someone's personal incentives, akin to a corruption/incompetence tax, Vakala said. Vakala says he's never held elected office, but he's prepared to wade into Miami politics. "I would love the first time someone tries to do something shady," Vakala said. I would have so much fun. I would destroy that person, and it would be so much fun." It's been a successful offseason for the Miami Heat. Pat Riley pulled an expert-level pivot after missing out on Kevin Durant. However, if another superstar becomes available during the season, we should expect Miami to be at the forefront of interested parties. For that reason, Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley recently shared a trade idea that would land Giannis Antetokounmpo in Miami. The trade proposal looks like this. Heat get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Milwaukee Bucks get Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Terry Rozier, a 2030 first-round pick, a 2032 first-round pick, and a 2031 first-round pick swap. After keeping Ware out of the Kevin Durant trade talks, the Heat would clearly need a superstar to let their second-year center go, Buckley wrote. Since they also have a clear and long-standing fascination with Antetokounmpo, which, to be fair, most teams do, it might take a mega-trade with Milwaukee to get Ware out of Miami. Add the draft picks here, and that feels like enough for the Heat to at least entertain dreams of adding Antetokounmpo, whose resume features a couple of MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year honor, and a Finals MVP. Giannis has reportedly been disgruntled with the Milwaukee Bucks in recent years. He has suffered 3 straight first-round exits from the playoffs. Moving to Miami could be enticing, as the Heat would do everything in their power to construct a contending roster around him. Heat refused to trade Nikola Jovic for Durant. According to Heat insider Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald, the Heat were unwilling to include Nikola Jovic in a trade package for Durant. As such, the Houston Rockets ultimately beat Riley to the punch, bringing the superstar forward to Texas. Per source with direct knowledge, he was willing to offer Wiggins, Rozier, Highsmith, Jacquez, and 20th pick in June's draft for Durant and Cody Martin, Jackson reported via X. Per Shams, Suns wanted Jacquez, Jovic, Highsmith, 20th pick and a pick swap, as well as Wiggins/Rozier inclusion. So, Jovic and Kaspar's J need to work out for justify the decision, which was a difficult one for Heat to reach. Jovic is currently suiting up for the Serbian national team at the FIBA Eurobasket tournament. Miami is clearly high on his skill set and what he brings to the table. Heat likely to stand pat. While adding Giannis would be amazing for Miami, it's highly unlikely. He is expected to remain in Milwaukee moving forward. Therefore, Riley is most likely going to stand pat heading into the new season. Furthermore, he may avoid any major in-season trades. The Heat will likely have some cap space next summer. By waiting now, Miami could be a legitimate player in the free agency market in 12 months' time. Given the lack of assets the Heat have to play with, patience is certainly a virtue. It's also worth noting that Norman Powell will become an unrestricted free agent next summer. As such, he could leave the franchise once the 2025-26 season comes to an end. Miami is set up to have flexibility next year. By biding their time, they could quickly retool the roster ahead of the 2026-27 campaign.